Hey guys, wanted to put another video up on the channel. So this last weekend you saw the real short clip of us powder coating the frame for the big rig cart. Tried to get a little bit more video, but the powder coating makes such a mess. You can actually see a little bit on the ground over there. There's still some red dust just a little bit everywhere in the garage. But big thanks to my son to come up and do the powder coating for us. He powder coated the entire chassis for the cart, as well as a lot of the brackets that go behind the pedals and bumper mounts, and the suspension has all been powder coated. So since he did the frame for us for little to no cost, he wanted to try something with the suspension arms. He wanted to try a dual stage powder coat. So basically he took the control arms and did an aluminum powder coat on those, so they're bright shining aluminum, and then he did like this candy teal top coat on them, and he did the same thing on the spindles, but he wanted to go with purple on these because he hadn't used the purple before and it's a little bit different. So this is two stages over here. It's a aluminum and the candy teal, and that's it. And the spindles are actually three coats. That's an aluminum coating, real shiny, then the purple coating, and then there's actually a clear that goes over the top of this. So he wanted to try the purple, so he did such a good job on the rest of the cart. It's in garage lighting here. There's LED lights above us, so it looks nice and red, but when you see it in the sunlight, it is like arrest me red. It is ridiculously red. I chose that color for this particular chassis because this is going to be the prototype one. This is the show truck. This is what everybody's going to be looking at. So I wanted this one to be really eye-catching. And, I wanted it to be red. I didn't want it to be black like all the others. Now, when we make more of these, because we're expecting that we're going to make about 9 or 10 more of these trucks, the others are probably going to be black. Hopefully they'll be powder coated. I'll see if I can get my son to come up and do the powder coating for those. If they don't get powder coated, then they'll just be spray painted. I'm hoping we can powder coat them. I'm going to push for that. It holds up a lot better. It's a real durable covering on it. It's real impervious to weather, rust, all those sort of things. I'm not a powder coat guy, so I can't give you tons of details on it. It makes it look really, really awesome. So we spent most of Saturday morning doing the prep on the chassis. So when you do the powder coating, the metal has to be absolutely clean. So we did a lot of grinding, get all the welding spatter off of it, getting old paint off of it, various different wire wheels, the orbital sander. I got a little mini belt sander that hooks like to an angle grinder, and got in all nooks and crannies. And we spent a ton of time putting that thing through the cleaner. Got it all real clean, and then we started the spraying. And honestly, the spraying, I stayed away from it. I didn't even try to powder coat stuff. I have powder coated stuff. The Jeep, I know you've seen it in the background. I powder coated the bell housing, the pedals, some other bracketry on it at a different shop that was set up for powder coating. I don't mind it, but I just was staying out of the way, let him do his thing, because he wants to do the powder coating. So we got the chassis done on day one. We got it all powder coated, and then we started putting it under the heat lamp. So sometimes when you powder coat stuff, you put it in the oven and bake the whole part. And if you have small parts like this, it's pretty easy to do. But for a large chassis like this, we actually put it under infrared heat lamp, and we would move the lamp, a little bit further. As it cured, we'd move the lamp to another section. It took a long time, but it came out really, really nice. The floor pans are powder coated. The underside is powder coated. The whole roll bar system is powder coated on it. I mean, it looks phenomenal. So that was Saturday, and then Sunday we put the chassis out in the yard in the sunlight to take some pictures of it, and the sun hit it, and it was just ridiculously red. So red that one of the guys that's in the shrine with me and drives these trucks in the parades saw my picture online and actually drove by the house to see it in person in the sunlight. I thought that was kind of cool. Um, so pictures I put up for the guys in the Shrine Big Rig Club, they really love it. I'm hoping that we can get this together for this weekend. We have a parade on Sunday, and we have to load the trucks on Saturday. So I'm hoping that this truck is done and up with the other trucks Saturday morning to get loaded up on the truck to go to the parade. And then we've got 2 parades on July 4th. So that's going to be a lot of work. I want this truck to be in the parade. Definitely on the July 4th one. I'd really like to have it on the July 2nd one. I think we can get there. I put the front suspension together a few minutes ago. I got done with work, came out here, started putting the suspension together. I got to get a couple more bolts. And this bolt here, you can tell it's kind of long. It needs to actually be cut down a little bit. There's a few other places that I've had to change how the bolts are set up. One of the things I'm trying to keep in mind with this truck is to use as much nylon lock nuts as possible, plus thread lock in various areas, because it is a go-kart. They do vibrate. This one vibrates less than the other ones do, but it still vibrates, and I don't want any of these bolts coming apart on me or anybody else while we're in the parade. Plus, it just keeps whatever settings we put it on. We get the suspension tuned up. It keeps that, adjustments, so it doesn't drift as we're driving and all that kind of thing. I'm definitely looking forward to driving again. It's very comfortable to drive, and it is relatively fast. Not that that's the point, but it is kind of fun. Let's see. So yes, yesterday, Sunday, we did various different colors. We did all the black pieces. The bumper mounts. Let me show you this bumper mount real quick. This is kind of cool. So these are what's going to mount the bumpers. They're designed very similar to like a 1950s Chevy truck. This mounts to the frame on the front, and there's a plate that goes across the front that would be the bumper, and this part here will act as a spring. So when you hit something with the bumper, it'll give in this little area, and there's going to be one on each side. We wanted a bumper assembly on the truck so when they get hit, and they do get hit, it doesn't bend the fiberglass body, it doesn't bend up the frame, that the bumper will take a lot of the impact. So we put a spring design into it, and I think it's going to work pretty well. But anyway, he wanted to try, my son, the powder coating guy, wanted to try this hammered aluminum type of look. And so we put this on here, and it came out really, really cool. It really gives it some nice texture, and because this is going to be mounted behind the bumper, you're really only going to see like this round section of it. The rest of this is going to be pushed up against the bumper plate. But I just think that looked really, really cool. Originally these were just plain flat steel. They were actually old steel that we scrapped off of another project, and we did the bending on them, did the drilling on it, did a lot of cleanup, and turned it into a really cool looking bumper mount. So these are going to mount right here on the front of the truck. So hopefully we'll get that done probably tomorrow. You can't see up there, but we got the dash plate. It's painted. It didn't get powder coated because I actually painted it before he came up. I wasn't sure if we were going to have time to do a lot of other parts, so I went ahead and painted it. It looks terrible. I'm probably going to repaint it or just redesign the whole dash panel. But there's going to be 4 switches up there, I think. One for the ignition, motor on and off. We're trying to standardize where the switches are on these carts, because some have a key switch, some have a button, some have a toggle switch. Some of them you push it up to make it turn off, some pull down to make it turn off. And I want to standardize this. If these carts ever have a problem, somebody can just come over and hit the switch, and they're all the same. They're all the same direction. But there's going to be a switch for the button for the motor, one for the lights, and one for the horn. And eventually we're going to have a smoke system in them. I was hoping to get it done with this truck before the parade, but it's just not going to happen. I do have a little siren that I'm going to put in this one. It was given to me by a friend of mine. It's been literally laying in the garage for a couple of years. I told myself I was going to put it on something, but it's literally not going to be doing anything. So I'm just going to donate it to this truck and have a nice little siren for it. I showed you the lights in a previous video, the blinky lights. The front ones are wired into the fiberglass shell, which is literally sitting right above my head. So after we get the assembly on the cart done, we'll put the shell on it, and I got to finish the wiring. So that's going to be a big thing that I've got to get done this week, is get that wiring done. I should have all the parts on hand. I've got batteries for this. I've showed you that. I have stuff to make a mounting assembly for the battery. I know it's going to go under the seat, but I don't have like a strap and bracket and whatever to hold it in. I have materials to make something. I just haven't figured out exactly which way I want to go. So that's where we're at. We've got a lot of really cool parts to put together. We're making progress with it. Hopefully the guys will be here tomorrow. We'll get the motor and rear axle under it. The front, all we got to do is really just put the tire and spindle assembly on it. But I got to put the brakes in it. So putting the brakes in it and getting the brakes bled out, other than the wiring, I think is going to be the hardest part. We ran into that before when we put the brakes on it. There's a long brake line that goes all the way down the cart, which, you know, it's shorter than a regular car, but the master cylinder on this thing is, you know, this big, and that's kind of a long throw for that master cylinder. So that's going to be a little bit of work. I think we're going to try to do that Wednesday. We'll get the parts onto it tomorrow and just do the brakes on bleed them out on Wednesday. So that leaves 2 more days to get everything else done. I think we can do it. I'm looking forward to it. We still got work to do on the back to make the bridge, the trailer hooks too. That's not going to get done before the parade, but I don't think that's really going to matter for this truck. But yeah, so again, thanks to my son for coming up and doing the powder coating. He's trying to put a business together down in Virginia. He doesn't have it put together yet, or I'd give you his name and contact information. Y'all can give him tons of work. But for right now, I just wanted to tell him thanks and give you guys an update, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.